was a hoax, as Donald Trump says. And the second impeachment, I don't know if it's a hoax, because Donald Trump hasn't told us yet, though there is a video that he put out, but we'll get into that later. All right, so the House impeaches Trump for incitement of insurrection, setting up a Senate trial. So here's the final vote. I stopped the stream because I knew that the proxy voting would take like 3 hours, so I'm not going to watch them proxy vote for 3 hours. Yesterday I was really exhausted. The day before I did not sleep that well, because I stayed up late. I forget why. What was I doing? I don't know. I was doing something the day before yesterday that caused me to stay up late and did not sleep well, and therefore I went to bed early last night. But again, 10 Republicans broke ranks, 0 Democrats broke ranks. I think that that's important. They keep talking about unity, right? The Republicans are unity, unity, right? Meanwhile, the Democrats are unified, the Republicans not so much, right? So it's very interesting. And so obviously I'm reading from the failing New York Times here. But let's read from the failing New York Times nonetheless. So, the House on Wednesday impeached President Trump for inciting a violent insurrection against the United States government, as 10 members of the president's party joined Democrats to charge him with high crimes and misdemeanors for an unprecedented second time. Reconvening under the threat of continued violence and the protection of thousands of National Guard troops, the House was determined to hold Mr. Trump to account just 1 week before he was to leave office. At issue was his role in encouraging a mob that attacked the Capitol 1 week ago, while Congress met to affirm President-elect Joseph Robinette Biden II's victory, forcing lawmakers to flee for their lives in a deadly rampage. The House adopted a single article of impeachment, voting 232 to 197 to charge Mr. Trump with inciting violence against the government of the United States, and requesting his immediate removal from office and disqualification from ever holding one again. Again, they should have just done, and they should continue to press 14th Amendment Section 3. 10 Republicans joined Democrats in voting to impeach Representatives Liz Cheney, the party's number 3 leader in the House, Jamie Herrera Beutler of Washington, John Katko, Adam Kinzinger of Illinois, Fred Upton of Michigan, Dan Newhouse of Washington, Peter Meijer of Michigan, Anthony Gonzalez of Ohio, David Valadao of California, and Tom Rice of South Carolina. All right, so the defections were a remarkable break from the head of the party by Republicans who voted unanimously against impeaching Mr. Trump just over a year ago. And you can read this whole article if you want, but I don't want, but this part here. This time, Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, the Republican leader, was said to support the effort as a means of purging his party of Mr. Trump, setting up a political and constitutional showdown that could shape the course of American politics when the nation remains dangerously divided. So, of course, Mitch McConnell's going to want to purge Donald Trump from the party because Mitch McConnell would be the leader of the party if Donald Trump goes away. Donald Trump right now, I think, is still in a position, I think he's still got 70% approval in the Republican Party, down from 96, right? So, but still 70% approval, right? That's well over a majority. That's an extreme super majority, right? So Mitch McConnell is a little jealous, and it appears that he definitely wants to take control of the party back because he knows how dangerous this is for the Republican Party going forward. And it really does depend on how Democrats govern over the next 2 years, I think, on whether or not the Republican Party will ever control a chamber of government ever again, I think, in the federal government. Because theoretically, if the Democrats do deliver these $2,000 stimulus checks, if they do deliver more aid and relief, if they do deliver climate change legislation, if they do deliver these things, which is theoretically possible, that would cement that the Democrats are not fucking around. Meanwhile, the Republicans will be voting against all of these measures all the time. I do think it's very possible. Meanwhile, Trump and Mitch McConnell fight for leadership of the Republican Party. This could set up a situation where the Republicans never hold a chamber of Congress or a chamber in the federal government ever again. Outside, of course, the Supreme Court, which, we've got to reform at some point. or abolish, but hey, that's just me. I think personally we should abolish the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court should be, instead of having a Supreme Court with specific Supreme Justices, it should be rotating courts, I think. The judges and justices should be randomly selected. Maybe you can throw in the, bipartisan kind of bullshit. If it may be, right? Maybe. If we get to that point, maybe I'll listen to that conversation. But I do think a rotating bench would be probably the best scenario, using the district courts for rotating benches. Abolish the Senate while we're at it. But I think abolishing the Supreme Court is a more realistic goal than abolishing the Senate at this current moment. And again, they're both very unrealistic. But I think one is slightly more realistic than the other. So again, that's basically what's going on with impeachment. The House voted to impeach the motherfucker second time. Pretty cool. And Donald Trump is a loser. He's a loser. He's an impeached president. And, he's not sending our best. His best, even. And in the words...
not good. Believe me, not good.
That's what he was saying yesterday afternoon.